Now we jump into pillar number 2 to figure out why now? Why are they looking to sell now? Why are we having this conversation with the homeowner? Now, again, based around the first pillar and understanding their motivation, the why now could come directly out of that part, right? You might already have that answer, but in the case that you don't, the questioning around the why now, why are we having this conversation, could be as simple as that. Hey, Mrs. Seller, Mr. Seller, I know this is a little odd, but can I ask you, why are you at least on the phone with me right now? Why do you have interest to at least have this conversation, regardless of whether we're able to move forward? That's your number one question. Why are they talking to a stranger? You can say it in a bunch of different ways. You can totally make fun of it. Hey, I gotta be honest, Mrs. Seller, listen, you don't know me, and I always kind of find it intriguing of why someone is willing to at least entertain the conversation. You know, why are you open to this conversation with me? And then you make light of it. It kind of breaks down some of that wall, that defensive wall, and you admit to the obvious that they don't know you. They're like, should I be telling them this? Should I not? And the intention here is to figure out like the reasoning for the moment. Now, again, finding the motivation has happened. So a lot of times you might find this answer in pillar number 1. But in the example you don't. It's really important because there are a lot of people right now that just want to sell at an unreasonable price. As we're doing this recording, the market is shifting real time. It is being dynamic. Interest rates are going up, etc. So that seller may not be so unrealistic anymore. By the way, the ones that are unrealistic, and as they're talking, they quote a number to you like, I'm looking to sell for something at $300,000. They don't want to sell now because their home's only worth $200,000 and they know it. So understanding their reasons for selling now is critical. Another great question will be is understanding why they haven't sold yet. Why is now this time for you? Why haven't you listed it 6 months ago when the market was incredibly hot, Mrs. Seller? Why didn't you sell it 6 months ago when you had all those investors calling you or sending you direct mail? Or why didn't you move forward then? What makes now different, Mr. Seller? Why is now different than 6 months ago? Why do you want to have this conversation? Now, number 1 and number 2 very often can kind of be melded together to figure out what their motivation and why now. And then that brings us directly into pillar number 3, which is understanding their value.